If I told you about an online mecca where PC hobbyists get together to buy and sell all sorts of hardware for unusually good deals, would you believe me? Well, there really is a platform just like this, and using it is far easier than eBay, at least once you understand the rules, and will usually net you better deals than you could find on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. There are no extra fees, no businesses that profit off of what you're doing, and no middleman between you and your hardware. You will have your components shipped right to your door and will be in direct communication with the seller the entire time. This place may sound magical, and for lots of people it really is, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't come with its own downsides. Today I'm going to tell you how to use this platform and give you an idea of its pros and cons, and whether or not it's right for you. So let's jump in and figure out exactly how to use and what to do with Reddit's Hardware Swap forum. As I just mentioned, this hardware buying and selling platform is part of a much larger social website known as Reddit. Most people know what Reddit is already, but for the uninitiated, Reddit is basically a site that hosts a huge collection of image boards, with each board pertaining to a certain interest or theme. These boards are called subreddits. People can make comments, upload pictures, live stream, etc. Usually, a website like Reddit wouldn't make a very good business platform for PC hardware, but the Hardware Swap subreddit has a simple yet effective set of rules and guidelines that allow for a very smooth trading ecosystem, provided that you follow them. Before I get into the rules and inner workings of the Hardware Swap subreddit, I want to outline some of its pros and cons. Reddit is a far cry from e-commerce websites like Amazon or eBay, and you need to be prepared for a very different experience than what you would expect while using a more popular purchasing platform. First of all, I'll list the reasons that I have for using Hardware Swap in place of or along with other sites like eBay, Amazon, and Newegg. Most importantly, Hardware Swap consistently offers the best deals. On eBay, the cheapest GTX 1080 Ti that I could find cost around $410, not including a 6% sales tax. On Hardware Swap, I found the same GPU for $350, no sales tax, with shipping included. This theme carries far beyond graphics cards. CPUs, storage, RAM, motherboards, and just about any other tech item, including VR headsets and video game consoles, can be found cheaper on Hardware Swap. Why? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Firstly, there are no extra fees for either the buyer or the seller, including tax. Think of this as an online tech garage sale. There's no third party taking any of the money that moves from the buyer to the seller, except for a very small fee to PayPal for buyer and seller protection services. So the sellers don't need to charge nearly as much money to make what they want. This makes Hardware Swap a very solid choice for selling PC components as well as buying them. Secondly, this subreddit has a very competent and welcoming community. If someone attempts to sell a product for a price that's above its worth, other members will inform them of the actual value of what they're selling, and they will almost always either change their price or remove their post altogether. These two factors keep prices very low on Hardware Swap. Beyond the low prices, buying from Hardware Swap is a more personal experience. In order to purchase or sell something, you need to communicate directly with the buyer or seller, and this allows you to have more contact with the buyer or seller, and it gives you a good idea of what the buyer or seller is truly offering and whether or not you can trust them. However, there still are some downsides. Hardware Swap isn't perfect, and just like eBay and Craigslist, it has its fair share of scammers. Luckily, these people are easily avoided by following a few simple rules that Hardware Swap runs by and that I'll explain later. To date, I've never had a single problem with scammers on Hardware Swap, but I have seen a few people who were unprepared and had some trouble. Beyond this, Hardware Swap is almost entirely a marketplace for used equipment. It's very rare to find a brand new product being sold on Hardware Swap. If you're the type of person who refuses to buy anything used, then this is certainly not the place for you. However, in comparison to eBay, I've had far fewer damaged or broken items sent to me, and returns have been historically easier for me to do through Hardware Swap. Finally, Hardware Swap is an image board and isn't navigated the same way as a usual sales site. Once you catch on, using Hardware Swap is easy, but it does take some getting used to in order to understand the rules and the interface. If you're willing to try something new, want to get the absolute best deals around, and don't mind purchasing used hardware, then Hardware Swap is the perfect place for you to look for computer hardware. So now that we've finished with the simple explanation, it's time for us to figure out the nitty-gritty of how Hardware Swap actually works and what it looks like. So right now I am on the Hardware Swap subreddit, and as you can see, this doesn't look anything like a usual sales website. And so at first, this is a bit overwhelming and difficult to figure out. But once you figure out what the culture is here and how to work the website, it becomes very, very simple to use. So let's take this top post, which was posted just a couple of minutes ago, and we'll look at the header. The headers are very important, and they're required to be formatted in a very specific way. And here's how they work. So if you are posting that you want to buy something, or you are posting that you want to sell something, you use the same header format. So first in brackets comes your country and state. So USA-NJ. So this person lives in New Jersey. Then in another set of brackets, H stands for have. So this person has a Nintendo Switch bundle. And in brackets W, which stands for want, they want PayPal. So they have a Nintendo Switch and they want someone to buy this Nintendo Switch from them using PayPal. So if we click on this, we will be able to see the entire post. Hello, I have a used Nintendo Switch console that is version 1 and not modded. I also have at least 6 games to come with it and a Nintendo Switch Wireless Pro controller. The 6 games I have are Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Super Mario Odyssey, Fire Emblem Heroes, and Ultra Street Fighter 2. I am asking for $460 to ship. And then there is a picture. When someone is selling something on Hardware Swap, it is required that they upload these pictures, which are called timestamps. So basically what this means is that it's a picture of all of the products that are currently being sold in that post, along with a picture of a piece of paper with written in pen or pencil the subreddit name, the date, and the username on Reddit of the person who's selling them. If these pictures are not available, then the post will immediately be taken down. And if the pictures are uploaded but don't have a timestamp, which is that piece of paper with the writing on it, then you should never buy from that person. Only buy from someone who has a legitimate timestamp for their things. And if you are offered something, ask for the timestamp before you purchase to make sure that they actually have the item that they're going to sell to you and that you can see what their username is written out in their own handwriting. That is one way that Hardware Swap keeps scammers out of their ecosystem. Now, a post that is used to buy something instead of selling something is very similar, and you'll notice that it has the same type of format for the title. So, USA, Wisconsin, I have PayPal, and I want a 5600 XT or 1070 Ti. So somebody's scrolling around and they realize that they're attempting to sell, or they have on hand, a 5600 XT or a 1070 Ti. Then they can click on this post and read this post and decide whether or not they want to sell to this person. So let's read the post. Looking for a GPU around this class of performance, trying to stay around $200 to $230 with shipping. And so buying a 1070 Ti or a 5600 XT for $200 to $230 would be difficult. But on Hardware Swap, that's definitely possible, and I'm certain that someone will eventually sell him one of these cards for a price that low. So let's take a look at our comments here. First is HWS Bot. This bot comments on every single post that's made on Hardware Swap. It looks over the post, makes sure everything is formatted properly, makes sure that the post itself is done correctly, make sure that the user is known to be a reliable person, and then it will make a post about that person. Username, their join date, the time when they actually joined this subreddit, how much link karma they have, how much comment karma they have, and how many times they've traded on the website. So the more confirmed trades that a person has, the more likely it is that they are a very reliable person. This person has done this 4 times already. They have 4 confirmed trades, probably more trades that haven't been confirmed, meaning that this person is probably pretty reliable. And so this user has either a 5600 XT or 1070 Ti, and he commented on the post, and he says PMing. That means that I'm sending you a personal message. And so in order to do that, if I had a 5600 XT or a 1070 Ti, I could send this person a personal message and attempt to sell it to them. So I would click on this person, and then I would go to send message. And then I would type, I don't have a 5600 XT or 1070 Ti, so I'm not going to share this message with him, but this is what I could do if I did. So I would say, have EVGA 1070 Ti. And then I have a nice 1070 Ti for sale, never overclocked or used for mining. Could you do 225 shipped? And then I would send that message to him, and he would reply to me asking for timestamps to prove that I actually have that graphics card. Obviously, I don't have the card, so I'm not going to actually send the message. So let's pretend for a second that we're trying to buy a new CPU. And so we'll say that I want to buy a Ryzen 7 3700X, which is a pretty popular high-performance CPU right now. So let's go through the steps of how I would look to buy a 3700X. There are 2 ways you can do this. First of all, you can search through other people's posts to see if anybody is already selling one. Secondly, you can make your own post looking for one and hope that somebody replies to that post trying to sell you the CPU. So we'll start with the first option, and if we don't find anything we like, then we'll continue on to the second option. So in order to do this, we can search for Ryzen 3700X in the search bar here. So I'm going to click enter after searching for it. Now you want to click show results from hardware swap. You don't want to see results from other subreddits. So first click that. Then you don't want to sort it by the relevance. You want to sort it by new, because the newest posts are the posts that are most likely to not have items that have already been bought. You want to try and find posts where the people are still selling those things and they haven't been purchased already. So let's take a look at this top one that was posted only 1 day ago. And it says here, have 3700X along with a whole bunch of other hardware, and he's made this handy little chart for us so we can take a look. Now, here's what this looks like. It seems that he is trying to sell his entire computer at once. So it shows how much he bought it all for, and then it shows the total amount that he paid for it originally. And now it's saying that he's only asking $650 for all the parts except for the case, power supply, and monitor. But he's also willing to part it out. $650 would be a stellar deal for all of these things combined, but I don't want all of these things. All I want is the CPU. So it says here that the 3700X with the cooler is $270 shipped, or if you're able to buy it locally from him, $255, which is a pretty darn good deal. But let's say that I want to go even lower. So I'm going to hit the back button on this one, and we will go back and take a look at some of the other ones. This person wants a 3700X, so we're not going to look at that, but we'll look at the next post that says buying. We'll look at the next post that says selling. Have 3700X, want local cash. So let's click on this one. He has a 3700X that's only $260 shipped, excluding PayPal fees, which are $7.78. He also is selling a pair of headphones. And it seems that enough people have commented on this, and notice at the last that it says payment sent, that this has already been sold. So even if I wanted to buy this one, we're out of luck on this. But this is how you can go through other people's posts and see what's currently going on. So it seems that the only one that's for sale right now that's currently available is this one. And if I wanted to spend less money than $270 on it, I would have to make my own post. So I will show you how to do that right now. So let's go back to Hardware Swap. So we'll go all the way back. And then we'll create a post at the top. So title, USA-MI, because I'm currently in Michigan. I have PayPal, and I want a Ryzen 3700X. Ryzen 7 3700X. So now, that's all I need for my title. They know where I'm at, they know what I have, and they know what I want. Now in the text, I will add details. So I'll just say, looking to upgrade my CPU. I would like a 3700X or better. I can only spend $250. Thanks in advance. And then all I have to do is click post. But before I do that, I would like to add a flare to say that I am buying. So people know that if they're selling a 3700X, they can look for that tag, and that makes it easier for them to search out posts. And so I will click post because I actually am looking for a 3700X. Now this would be quite a deal on this type of CPU, but we'll see whether or not somebody actually offers. If not, no big deal. I'll look again some other time. But I have a feeling that I'll probably get a few offers on this comment. Let's finish up by going over the rules to avoid scammers. Firstly, never buy from someone who hasn't provided timestamps. If they can't even prove that they have the item, then they can't be trusted. Some scammers will attempt to fake their timestamps, but these fakes are obvious to spot, since the faked timestamp won't look like real handwriting and will usually be in some sort of a common font. Secondly, never send money to someone without using PayPal's Goods and Services Protection option. In the same way, if you are selling, always make sure that you or your buyer has specified to use Goods and Services Protection as well. No wire transfers, bank deposits, or friends and family options for PayPal are allowed. This precaution protects both parties. Third, never buy from or sell to anyone who messages you directly without commenting publicly on your post. In the same way, if you found something that you're looking for in someone else's post, always comment publicly before sending them a private message. Most scammers use accounts that are well known in the community, and if one of these people posts publicly on a post, then their account will be noticed and banned. If you comment publicly before sending a personal message and refuse to buy from or sell to people who don't comment publicly on your posts, you will drastically decrease your likelihood of being scammed. Finally, always look at a person's Reddit account by clicking on their username before doing business with them. If they have no confirmed trades and their account is brand new, or if they seem to have posts that were made by bots, it's better not to do business with them at all. If you follow these steps, you will never be scammed. 99% of the people on Hardware Swap are friendly, reliable, and wouldn't attempt to scam you, but following these precautions will keep you safe. If you want the best deals, Hardware Swap is definitely the way to go, provided that you follow all of the rules and make sure that you're a helpful part of the community.